Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
I know one of your interests is the idea that certain spiritual disciplines are appropriate for certain personality types and not for other personality types. And wouldn't it be nice if we could figure all that out?
Something most people don't realize, because we generally just tell success stories here, is that my impression is that spiritual training is remarkably inefficient and ineffective.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a discussion with my friend Shinzen Young years ago, who I think is one of the best meditation teachers in the world, the way he's adapted stuff to fit in with the modern psyche.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, well, how successful are people? You know, what you teach them meditation and then what happens? And he said quite casually, well, if I teach a retreat or a class or something like that, just about everybody says, oh yeah, this meditation is good stuff. It's going to be a regular part of my life. Mm-hmm. If he comes back a year later and 5% of those people are still doing it, he's been very successful. And I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, if I founded a university and 95% of my students had dropped out or flunked out within the first year, I'd figure we don't know how to teach.
Mm.
And yeah, you know, some of them didn't really belong there, and there are reasons for some of the others, but that's an enormously inefficient rate.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, is that just your experience? He said, no, it's the experience of all the Western meditation teachers I know.
Mm.
Well, how about the Eastern teachers, the real gurus? He said, yeah, same thing with them, but they don't worry about it because they all believe in reincarnation, you know. So if you drop out after a little bit, you don't have the good enough karma to stick with it. Maybe 10 lifetimes down the road, you'll come back and train better.
So, but
well, wait, that might be true. You know, I'm open to the possibility of reincarnation, but what a defense mechanism to not look at the fact that you can't teach effectively.
Well, you're assuming that effective teaching means that they stick with a practice.
And that they eventually change in desirable ways. But I'm taking sticking with it as the most crude but easily measurable kind of thing of it, or at least starting.
I suppose, I mean, spiritual disciplines are typically considered lifetime disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine that they might also have short-term applications, and then, and you know, let's suppose, well, I'll give you an example. A dear friend of mine was experiencing spontaneous Kundalini rising symptoms, very uncomfortable shivers and energy running up and down the spine. And she went off to a yoga ashram for 2 weeks, met with the guru there, and he explained what was going on and made some adjustments, and the symptoms went away. And she was given a lifetime practice to follow, but as far as she was concerned, her problem was alleviated, and she was moving on to other things.
I have had many communications over the years from people who say this spiritual or psychic thing is happening to me and it freaks me out. How can I make it go away?
Yeah.
So if making it go away is what the person wants and you help them go away, that's fine. I've helped people that way a lot of times simply by saying, no, that doesn't mean you're going crazy, right?
Yeah.
I know something about this. There's a name for this kind of phenomena. It doesn't mean you're crazy. So relax. Oh, really? You're the first authority figure who's ever said anything positive to me about, and that's all that's needed for some people. But for the people who want to get somewhere on a spiritual path and work at it and work at it and work at it and don't seem to get anywhere, get discouraged and quit, if we had some way of knowing in advance that this kind of yoga discipline works real well for this kind of person, but that kind of Buddhist meditation works better for that kind and Christian prayer is better for that kind, I think we could help people spiritually advance a lot faster. That's one of the jobs of transpersonal psychology, to start figuring that out, even if it's only approximate. You know, if 10% now stay instead of 5%, that's a big boost.
I suppose it would be.